Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to another version of the Canadian immigration offering. Well, this one is all about TEER. And I think you guys are very, very familiar by now. There's been so much discussion about it. It's just been crazy. Those of you who have a profile in the pool have now seen right away that there are changes afoot. And it did not take immigration long. Did they shut down the pool? No, they didn't. Have they stopped the rounds of invitations? No. Because like I've said in the past, the changes were really cosmetic and really did not take a lot out of it, out of the system to be able to roll over to this new 5-digit code versus the 4. So I wanted to just jump in now really quick, and the portal is so slow. So I'm going to slide over here right away without any further ado, and I'm going to show you guys what you need to do in order to be able to make those changes. And really, it's quite simple. I'm going to open it up for any questions that you have about TEER, but I wanted to just show you in a real life example exactly how you make these changes. So I'm going to go back here. I've been kind of keeping this alive. You know how it times out. So as I've been waiting to go live, I've been going back and forth, and you can see here within the system, your system should look just like this. Now, there's been a couple little updates. So if you have been working on your profile like I have, for instance, and it was not yet submitted, then it's going to prompt you to start all over from scratch. That appears to be what's happening. Some may have other experiences, but generally speaking, if you started your profile, had not yet submitted it, then it would probably make you start, well, it looks like it makes you start all over from scratch. However, if you have already submitted your profile, then it's going to just prompt you right here to edit. So it probably should say in progress. And so basically that means that there's been that change, and you then have to continue to the form. And so we'll open this up, and you will now see, and yes, I have to now update my my course here with the lesson for work experience. I have to do that. But now what you'll see when you log in is that it's now no longer referencing the 2016 4-digit NOC code. Now it's indicating the primary occupation for the 5-digit NOC code. So now we're into the world of TEER. And I've talked about this a lot. You can go to our website. We have some great blog posts that we did a long time ago about all of this. So go check out those blog posts on our site. There's also, and I'll talk about this, it's so fun. Like, I love when some of the other news outlets basically regurgitate or take the information off of the website, kind of reformat it, and then brand it as their own. Well, I don't do that. I actually go back to the original source, which this is a great source to understand how TEER will impact on the various federal economic programs. And so you can see the updates are all here, and I'll talk about this in a little bit, but absolutely go to our firm website, blog post, or you can click on the links below, and the link for this, as well as this here that you'll see for the NOC 2021, compare all express entry programs. Those are going to be in the description for these videos, and especially on the YouTube channel. So if you come here, you're watching on the YouTube channel, you're watching through this link, or whether you're through LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, wherever it is you're watching and consuming the content, the links will be there to help you with based on everything that we've talked about. But let's get in here before this time's out on us, right? That would really suck. So I'm here in a profile. You can see you need to find your correct NOC. There's an explanation right here that takes you through the breakdown of how the codes work. And you can see here, there's specific instructions, like if you have a provincial nomination certificate issued with a 4-digit NOC, please enter the following NOC code in this field. And so they give you instructions on what you do if you're in that type of a situation. But pay attention, this is all new instructions, including basically talking about how you make those changes. If you have any questions, always, all you need to do is slip over, click on Speak to a Lawyer, and book a consult with one of us. We can help you with that here at Healthy Immigration Law. But continuing forward, you're going to find your NOC code. So what we'll do is, and we've got a bunch of people that are tuning in here, I'm just going to choose a NOC that just fits. So let's go with lawyer. Why not? Let's go with lawyer. We'll go with lawyer here. So this is me here. So you can see right now, this is pulling, when you click on here, the only options that is giving you is the new 5-digit codes here. So in this case, lawyers and Quebec notaries, right here, 41101. The 4 indicates the industry that it's in, and this second digit indicates the tier. So here's lawyers in Quebec notaries. We'll put that in there. Then this information, none of this has changed, you guys. So when did you first, meet the qualifications? The first really relates to the Federal Skilled Trade Program. This other part here, any other job, this is the date you first obtained the minimum education or training stated in the NOC description. Well, do you know what? I'm going to change this. I'm going to go back because here's my little template. I'm going to go and actually I'm going to flip back to administrative assistance, and that's 13110. So let's just switch this up and we'll make it consistent. So 13110 administrative assistance. We'll use that as the code. All right. So then we click next, and actually, do you know what? We'll have to wait a little bit because I know everybody else is making these changes. So we'll walk through it slowly. I'll come back to this as it's transitioning to the next screen. But if you go here, I want to point out something. So these codes, yes, have changed, but there have been very few occupations where there's been some pretty substantial changes. Now, obviously, if you go to the blog post, you can see all of the occupations where if you're in these, you've got a bonus. These 16 occupations have received a bump up where they were skill level C or D before. Now they are considered a tier 3, which is eligible for express entry. So all of these are fantastic. And there are a few losers, just a few, these ones here that are going to be demoted, no longer have ability to do that. But remember, through the Atlantic Immigration Program, that it's expected that the following occupations will become ineligible as a result of the change. So that's where you need to pay attention to the Atlantic Immigration Program. But aside from that, let's jump back in. Hey, we're here. So Canadian Certificate of Qualification. You can, is there a certificate of qualification? For the vast majority of you, the answer is no there. Intended work in Canada. Once again, you can see how slow it is. So I think what I'm going to do, if you have a job offer, I won't get into what job offers are. This is all old stuff that hasn't changed at all. But you can see when you're going through the process of selecting a job offer, if I say yes here, and then it opens it up, it says, is it full-time continuous for at least 1 year? Well, it should be if you're going to classify it. But you can see even within here, it has now been updated to reflect the 5-digit NOC code. Okay. So, and it's just a simple drop-down menu, just like we saw before. All right. And then last but not least, as we just jump down here to work history, this is where some of you will see this whole section you'll need to update. But when you're adding in a new position, once again, the 5-digit NOC code is right here. Okay, so now you can see how you make your changes. It's not rocket science. It really isn't, you guys. But I want to slide over and just show you something. So here's administrative assistance. This is the new tier system. On this screen here, I have the same position, administrative assistance, 1241. The old NOC 2016 code. So when you're trying to classify or determine if you have the right NOC, what you're worried about is the activities in the lead statement right here. So look at that one and let's flip over here. Do you see any difference between this? Okay, so here's one right here, you guys. Camera 1, camera 2. Camera 1, camera 2. So you can see there's no change here. And if you go back, once again, this is the tier 3. This is where the rubber hits the road, the main duties. But let's just take a quick peek at these main duties as well. And let's flip between those. And you'll see, generally speaking, there really is not much in terms of change. So you can see this one versus that one. You see? Very little, if any, change to the actual descriptions. So, but you can't just rely on, oh, it's this NOC code, this is the title, so I can just roll it over, choose that one, and it's all done. Because in some instances, there have been changes to the lead statement and the duties and responsibilities. So please, please do pay attention to that. So there you have it. And yes, you need to make sure that you make those changes. If you don't, then you're going to run into problems. Now, I want to point out one last thing before we drift off into answering the questions from our viewers. In here, when you complete this and you have all the information recompleted in here, let's see if I can still access my my portal here, because like I said, it's so busy and Oh, there we go. We've got it. Once you've completed all of this and you've got all of those nice little green completed sections, you will then have a box that will appear right here that will say continue. Just changing it in here is not enough. You have to take the extra step of clicking this button here, which should say continue, I believe, and resubmit your profile in if you did it before. If you haven't and you had it partially completed, then you'll be prompted to complete from scratch. And the last question that people ask, what happens if I have already received my ITA, but I've not yet filed my EAPR? Well, it's pretty simple, you guys. All you're going to do is go into your own profile and you're going to take a look and select. If you are an individual who is locked in, then all you will see is NOC 2016. And so that's what you'll select. You don't need to worry about it. If you are an individual who is now prompted to go through the tier system, then just select the tier options from the dropdown when you're completing your work history. So it's really no more complicated than that. But this is an opportunity for you to reassess your NOC and make sure 100% that you've got it correct. Because if you don't have it correct, yes, they will more than happily refuse your application after however many months it takes for them to get around to doing it. Maybe it's as early as 3, maybe it's 6, maybe it's longer, but you don't want to be in a situation where you've got all of your whole immigration future resting on this NOC, and then immigration decides that it's not the right one. So if you have any questions, remember, we're always here to help. Links in the description. Go to our website, click on Speak to a Lawyer, and you can choose from any one of us lawyers. And I'll let you guys in on something. Whether you book with Alicia, with Chanel, with Cedric, with Mark, whether you book with any of us, you are getting 4 lawyers essentially for the price of 1. Every day we talk about the files that we work through. We talk about the difficult situations that we have. And sometimes you guys will come up with a question or a situation that will stump us. So what do? We bring the full weight of the firm down to bear on your issue. And we talk about it, we strategize about it, and then we provide our legal advice. So that is how it is structured. All right. Just a reminder once again, for those of you who are jumping on, that the Canadian Immigration Institute is the sponsor of this episode. And what do we have in the Canadian Immigration Institute? We've got the study permit course that's launching December the 12th. Up until December the 1st, we've got a pre-sale going on. It's $200 US. After December the 1st, it will jump to $250. The Express Entry course is the end of this month, starting November 28th is the masterclass. You can log in right now and get access to those materials. And yes, you will have access to all of the updates that I'm now going to have to do to compensate for tier. LMIA course, that's available. QUET is here as well. But you can see these courses, Express Entry, Study Permit, and Spousal, are all live and available for you to access and to join me. The Spousal actually starts next week on the 21st. So hope you can join me for those. All right, let's jump in and let's get to the viewer questions. Good to see all of you guys here today. Tahir over on Facebook, the Canadian Immigration Institute Facebook page. Good to see you. MPM, hello, over on YouTube. Singh says, hi, Mark, what is the tier code for traffic control supervisor? Singh, or Sina, Sina, I want you, when it comes to the code, understand just because someone has a title of traffic control supervisor, I don't even attempt to try to guess what the specific tier would be. The reality is, when it comes to all of this, you have to make sure that you're not going by just what the title says. This is irrelevant. Well, it's not completely irrelevant, but what's important is what is in the activities in the lead statement and the actual duties that are being performed. So it is impossible for me to say, hey, this is the tier that you use for traffic control supervisors, when in effect, I would need to actually look at the reference letter that you're going to be submitting with your application and examining your duties carefully before I can confirm exactly which NOC code it is. And how do we do that? We do that, guys, right through here, through our website, through booking a consultation, and we can usually sort it out in the course of those consults. All right. Next up here, we have Petra. Says, good morning from Whistler. I'm an RCIC, just trying to find out as much as I can about NOC 2021. Great. Welcome, Petra. Great to have you here. Okay, let's get to some super chats. Okay, Arshdeep says, I got ITA 496, foreign experience, 11 months, 11 days, can't complete now. Canada experience, 14 months plus, current, same NOC. IRCC gave 38 points for foreign experience. Do I accept? I'm going to ring this bell. Oh, wait a minute. I better turn up some volume here and ring this bell again. That is my symbol, Arshdeep. There's no way I can answer that question. That is specific legal advice. Slide over and book a consultation, and we can just click on speak to a lawyer, come down here, select book a consult with me, and we can talk about that in depth, because it's not something that I can give you advice on right now. You know, at the end of the day, the work experience that you have, as we go through here, I'm looking to see what you were drawn under. Foreign experience, you've got Canadian experience, so I'm assuming CEC, but ultimately they do round up, they do. But if you haven't completed the full year, the full 12 months, then there's a significant chance that immigration will not accept the points that you've been awarded because of your foreign experience. You know, ultimately continuous, paid, full-time, I don't know any of those kinds of things. So Arshdeep, yeah, absolutely. You'll need to make sure that you book a consult so that we can dive in deeper. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Next up on our list. Let's see here. Okay, Deja says, currently working with CIBC. Oh, the banks, seriously. Institutional clients suck. They really do. Okay, Deja says, currently working with CIBC as a credit card specialist. Can I use the position to apply for my permanent residency? I'm ringing the bell. Deja, book a consult. We can assess that. But the banks are notoriously bad for not only making it difficult to select a NOC code, because there's so much stratification, so much specialization within what you do at the banks, that the NOC codes often are difficult to decide upon. And sometimes the banks, and I can't speak specifically for CIBC or Scotia or RBC or Bank of Montreal, but they all have a tendency not to produce very good reference letters to support the work that you're doing. But book a consult, Deja, and we can help you to sort through that. Okay. Jenny says, anybody else is unable to log into their profile? Well, yes, many, many people have, because everybody's trying to get in all at the same time to try to change their NOC codes. Okay. ZR says, can you explain 0711 NOC code? Well, ZR, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. So remember, we don't worry about 0711 anymore. That's NOC 2016. And so if we are looking at, if we go in here, so 2016, if we go to the search by NOC code, still 2016, and we type in 0711, this is construction managers. So I'm not sure exactly what you want me to explain about this other than trying to confirm that, you know, you're not using construction manager 0711 code, but you're going to use construction managers for 2021. And so we go, if we go here, construction, actually I better pull up the job title instead, and we'll search it that way. 2021 construction manager should pull up what we're looking for. You need to make sure that you're choosing the proper NOC code, which I haven't looked at your duties, but this should be the one that you're working off of, is this one here. Make sure that you carefully assess them to ensure that you can perform all the activities in that lead statement, as well as the duties all set out here below. So make sure that you check that out and make sure you're in the right location. Okay. Okay. Aaliyah says, please explain 93888 for PNP that to be used instead of NOC code. Well, like we talked about, and I think, I'm not sure if I can still get access to this. Let's see if he'll let me back in, or if I've timed out. Here, this is classic, right, guys? How many times have you seen this? Oh man, so frustrating. So frustrating. Okay, so we're not going to worry about going back into my live portal, but essentially this is a code that they have provided for individuals who've received their, like, they're locked in with the PNP based on the NOC 2016 code. PNPs have been rolling over to the 5-digit tier system, but they're not quite there yet. So when you are going through the process, of completing your EAPR after you've received that approval with the province, then this NOC code is what you list in the work history that's associated with that PNP when you're completing it. And yes, and so so that will stay tuned for this one, Aaliyah. That's something that we'll need to dive in a little bit deeper. I haven't had a chance to really look at that to be able to respond. Ultimately, anyone who has questions about this is all brand new. All you need to do is slide over and book a consult once again, and we can talk about that. Okay. Sanjay says, my spouse is under work permit in BC as a healthcare aide with NOC 3413. Is she eligible to apply for express entry? That's a fantastic question. So healthcare aid. So let's go back to our winners and losers within the blog post that Chanel and Cedric did. And so if you start up here, pharmacy technician, elementary, correctional, bylaw, esthetician, residential pest control, transport, heavy equipment, aircraft assembly, inspectors, you can see all of these positions here have all had a chance to upgrade. And what do we have here? We've got nurses, aides, orderlies, and patient service associates, also known as personal support workers. So if we go back here to your question, you said that your excuse me, you said that your spouse is a healthcare aide. And so if we go, excuse me, and we scroll back here to this page, nurses, aides, orderlies, and then let's go here to 3-4. Let's go for healthcare aide. This is the easiest way to do it. And understand, once again, you guys, I'm not looking at the duties and responsibilities, so I can't guarantee if as far as her role as a healthcare aide, 3413, if her duties really align with it. But generally speaking, if we go with healthcare aide, and then we stick with the NOC 2021 version, and then we type in here, healthcare aide, and we pull it up. Okay, let's see if we can find nursing aid. And this is the hard part because I don't know exactly which, like the duties associated with it are. Okay, let's keep finding till we find the right occupation. So let's go with healthcare here. I'm going to type in healthcare and I'm going to see what comes up. See if we can find it this way. Man, this is making my life difficult, isn't it? Okay, we're going to go with nurse. I'm going to find a nurse. That I know. Okay, now let's work down to see if we can find. So nurse practitioners, licensed practical nurses, nurse aides, okay, orderlies and patient services. So you can see here, 33102. So what tier is it? These are tier 3. As you scroll down lower through the different positions, really that's the one. Nurse aide probably is the one that we're talking about. So if it's tier 3, and once again, I can't confirm if, the healthcare aide, the roles that's being performed under 3413 is considered to be, would actually line up with this NOC code. But I think from what I can see, if it does line up with 33102, this one right here, then yes, this is eligible now for express entry. So that is, as we indicated in the blog post, that's one of the occupations that will become eligible. So these are now winners. So you can actually go in and you can create a profile if you're a nurse aide, and you can start going through the process of express entry, which is very, very cool. Okay. Okay. Ash says, hello, Mark. You all right? Well, I'm doing good. Thank you very much. Here, let's pull out this one, get this out of the way here. Okay, so Ash says, I got an ITA last time under NOC 1223, but now after my ITA, my work history is showing as under progress instead of transmitted. Why? Is CIC glitching again? Okay, so I don't know, Ash, if you've been paying attention, but the reality is after your ITA, my work history is showing as under progress. I am assuming now in the context of filing your EAPR that, Ash, have you not submitted it yet? That's the question I have. So if you're still in the process of completing it, then all it's asking you to go in is update that section. So go and update it. If now you see the tier, then update it to the new tier. If it's not, and it just shows the NOC 2016 options for you, then just complete that. But in your situation, that's the reality. That's what's transpired for you, Ash, is that it's now rolled over to tier. So go in and recomplete that work history section. Okay. Okay, this one, I'm going to try to keep the questions that I'm going to answer focused on TEER. We've got just a little bit longer, and then I'm going to close her down here for this live. Let's see. Oh yeah, Ash, this is more specifically, it is asking for a 5-digit NOC code. But when I got an ITA, I had input a 4-digit code. Now it doesn't show any code in my work history. Okay, so just update it to the 5-digit code. So there's the answer. Ash resolved it for us. So if you've got an ITA, now when you're completing your EAPR, it will now ask you to input the 5-digit code. So enter the proper 5-digit code now in your work history. That's what you do, Ash. Good. Zayar says, well, thanks, sir. You answer my question. Duties are the same. And Sanjay, you are very, very welcome. All right. Okay, guys, I think that's the end of our video. We're going to keep it a little bit short. Looks like I got through all of the questions. So hopefully this was helpful. If you ever need any help, remember, we're here for you. The reality is there's lots of different things that you can do. We've got our study permit course that's coming up. Remember, you can subscribe now, and that will be launching December the 12th to the 16th, the actual masterclass. But there's lots of different options, lots of things that we have going on. And remember as well that we are always available for immigration consultations if you require any assistance at all. Finally, I guess the last thing that I'll point out as I shift over here to our firm website is that we work directly with you. So those of you who wish to retain a representative to help you, you can retain our law firm, and we will walk you through the whole process. All you need to do is go to About Us, check out our approach, and then you can learn all about how we work directly with our clients in a client-centered, firm-supported method. And it all starts with as easy as clicking on Speak to a Lawyer and booking a consult, and we're here to help you and support you in your journey. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It was great to have you here in yet another special announcement. And in this case, it was all about the new TEER and how to update your profile correctly. All right, guys, take care, and we will see you again in